Welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. Coming to you live to tape from 25 feet below the surface of the earth. We do have some people live, fans live from the IWC here down in the bunker. Fans, we have a special show today. We're coming back on back-to-back and belly-to-belly days here on Chaos Corner. Now, I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Follow me on all social media platforms. That would be on Twitter, at Big Daddy G.O.C. And the G.O.C. stands for the Guardian of Chaos. If you hit that profile link, that will knock you over to here on the Guardian of Chaos YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at the Guardian of Chaos. And of course, my two personas on Facebook. My buddy, yours truly, Jay Brony, and of course, my persona, Protigio Fidelis El Guardian. Hit the bell, subscribe, like, leave a comment, DM me, inbox me, email me at chaosbigdaddy2 at yahoo.com. That's CHAOS Big Daddy 2 at yahoo.com. Fans, today, another exclusive episode. Yesterday, we talked about the history of rivals and throughout the glorious years in the golden era of professional wrestling. Today, we cover this week in pro wrestling history. We're going to give you some pertinent facts, some pertinent dates. You're not going to want to miss it. And then we're even going to briefly mention the local scene here at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling with the huge event coming up on December 11th, Under Pressure at the Greater New Haven JCC in Woodbridge. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Under Pressure. Don't go anywhere. We have finger sandwiches. We have coffee. We have tea. It's early in the morning. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot of stuff. I'm coming right back. Don't you dare miss it. Fans, thanks for putting up with the first 2 minutes and 20 seconds of chicanery over on the other social media platforms. Let me lower the distraction here because we're in a great mood as usual when we're down here in the bunker, live to tape. It doesn't matter what episode, what show it is. We're here to give you content. Spur of the moment, one man, unique, unscripted, unedited. You won't get that anywhere else except here on Chaos Corner. Yeah. I'll lower. All right, guys, settle down over there. Settle down. We're going to start off with certain news and notes when it comes to this week in pro wrestling history. One of my favorite programs that we get to talk about here on Chaos Corner. This is the opening monologue. I appreciate you getting it here. Oh, all the music, it's for, we don't want to be copyright infringement. We don't want to be flagged. We have a lot going on here in the good old USA. You would think that I would be amped up already, but this is me on the regular. It doesn't matter if it's the Red Bull or the Monster or coffee or green tea or water. I'm amped up in general in life. Stand by. All right, fans, here we go. I want to get this up today. Live to tape. Same day coverage of the G.O.C. Big Daddy. Wait. Is it still No Shave November? No, what? Yeah, it is. December is until tomorrow. All right, fans, here we go. We're going to jump all over on different dates, but it is this week in pro wrestling history. I want to give a big shout out to my boy, Mr. Hempel-Stilskin, my sole survivor as sponsor, loyal to the end, for all your CBD products, all your CBD wellness, your CBD needs. You're going to want to go to Mr. Hempel-Stilskin and sweetheal.com. Balms, oils, lotions, tinctures, edibles, gummies for your pets, for your mental health, for your injuries. You're looking at a two-time Hall of Famer. You're looking at someone who's in the over 50 demographic who's still active. If I don't go a day without Sweet Heel CBD and their products, I don't know what I would do. It's for clarity. It's for mindfulness. It's for health. It's the wave of the future in all sports, in all entertainment, in all walks of life. You're not going to want to miss what you can get at Sweet Heel CBD. Give a shout out to Mr. Hempelstiltskin. Buy some products. If you use the promo code CHAOS, CHAOS, I believe it might be 25% off of all the products over a certain price. Where else can you get that by using my name? 25% off. Sweet Heel CBD. Let's not get crazy. Here we go, fans. Chaos Corner. Sit back, relax. We're going to have a heck of a time. I always have the notes. You have to have your research. Here we go with some important dates, news, and notes. 1948. Antonina Rocca defeats Danny McShane in Dallas, Texas for the NWA Texas Heavyweight title. 1979, Bruiser Brody defeats the Spoiler in Houston, Texas for the NWA American Heavyweight title. 1997, ECW held its third pay-per-view, November to Remember, at the Golden Dome in Monaca, Pennsylvania. Say that 3 times fast. Monaca, Pennsylvania. Over 4,500 fans, which was the largest in ECW at the time, 1997. Remember, we're bouncing all back and forth here, going back and forth on different dates on this week in pro wrestling history. Featured on that card, the likes of Chris Candido, Tommy Rogers, Chris Chetty, Spike Dudley, Jerry Lynn, Justin Credible. Al Snow introduces Head for the very first time. Taz, the Full-Blooded Italians, the Dudley Boys, Tracy Smothers, Tommy Dreamer, Rob Van Dam, New Jack, Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten, Sabu, Sandman, Shane Douglas, and Bam Bam Bigelow, all on that card in 1997 for the first November to Remember, ECW's third pay-per-view. 2001, Misawa and Ogawa defeat Big Van Vader and Scorpio to win the Noah Global Honored Crown Tag Team titles. And Sapporo, Japan, for all my friends over there on the Konnichiwa, out on the Pac Rim, Konnichiwa, bitches! 1962, Eddie Graham defeats Boris Malenko in Jacksonville, Florida for the NWA Southern Heavyweight title, 2 of the biggest names in Florida wrestling history. 1980, Killer Carl Cox defeats the Grappler for the Mid-South Heavyweight title in Shreveport, Louisiana. 1986, NBC airs its 8th WWF Saturday Night's Main Event in Los Angeles, California. And the reason why I say that is because we're always talking about ratings, AEW versus the WWE, so on and so forth, SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite, Rampage, whatever it is you want to talk about. Back then, 1986, Saturday Night's Main Event drew a 9.7 rating. Let that sink in. A 9.7 rating in 86, featuring the likes of Hulk Hogan and Hercules Hernandez, Macho Man Savage, Jake the Snake, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., the Hart Foundation, the Killer Bees, the Magnificent Morocco, Dirty Dick Slater, Coco Beware, and Nikolai Volkov. Look at it back then in 86 and the ratings. That's why I bring it up with talent that's legendary, but let's be honest, a 9.7? That's why they call it the Golden Era. 1986, Al Perez defeats the Mighty Igor in San Juan, Puerto Rico to win the WWC Puerto Rican Heavyweight title. 1992, Smoky Mountain Wrestling held Thanksgiving Thunder in front of over 1,000 fans at the City Coliseum in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now remember, this is an independent promotion back then. Featured on the card when Brian Adams was the Night Stalker, Robbie Eagle, Tracy Smothers, Dutch Mantell, Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden, Ronnie Garvin, Paul Orndorff, Danny Davis, the Southern Heavyweight Champion Tony Anthony, Tim Horner, the Rock and Roll Express, Kevin Sullivan, the Mongolian Stomper, and of course, as I just said, in a steel cage match in 92 at Smoky Mountain Wrestling, it was the Rock and Roll Express against the Heavenly Bodies. Unbelievable events back there in the era, the golden era, if you will, that we talk about all the time, which to me was the middle and late 70s into the middle 90s. Early 90s, you look at some of the different shows and what the fans drew, independent shows, and what the ratings were doing on TV for the bigger companies and promotions. It really was a great time. We may be back there again now. 1994, Tito Santana defeats Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. in Chicago, Illinois to become the first American Wrestling Federation World Champion. Again, another independent. Look at how strong it was back then. Still, the territories were just about finished, but the indies, it still was like the territories well into the 90s, maybe even to the early 2000s, but not as the territorial days that you knew them from back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It's a shame that it went away, the territory days. Hopefully it's coming back with all the independents and all the different releases from the WWE and Ring of Honor. Let's not forget, AEW is coming up on almost 3 years. Contracts, all those 3-year contracts, that will be coming up soon at AEW. And with the influx of talent into All Elite, let's see what's going to happen with some of the talent and what Tony Khan is going to do there. And we're always talking about Nick Khan and the WWE and all the releases. And, of course, everyone with the Ring of Honor and what's going on there and all the releases. And if, when, maybe they'll come back. I mean, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. 2003, Gedo and Jado defeat Goto and Taguchi to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. That's right. Gedo and Jado defeat Goto and Taguchi. Say that 3 times fast, as I like to say. This week in pro wrestling history, coming to you live to tape from 20 feet below the surface of the earth. Here at Chaos Corner, it's me. It's me. It's the G.O.C. I know, I have my catchphrases. I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. 2008. A judge ruled probable cause in the search warrants issued against the Benoit family physician, Dr. Aston. That's right, the Benoit family. Not really talked about, but the search warrants were issued against Dr. Aston for authorities to raid his records from his office and his storage units in the wake of the Benoit family tragedy. This is 2008 now. That led... and those raids led to Aston's indictment on 7 counts of overprescribing medication. And we know the story that went on from there. All this alleged stuff, and we know what happened. The horrible, it was covered on Dark Side of the Ring, and what happened with Chris Benoit. 2008, SmackDown became the center of a major controversy in Indonesia as the Indonesian Broadcasting Commission called for the show to be banned after the death of a 9-year-old allegedly dying in a tragic accident mimicking moves in his backyard. Now, the WWE statements were, obviously, it was a tragedy, and you know, thoughts go out to the family, and they're working with the authorities, but they're confident that it had nothing to do with WWE programming, and it was proved to be that back in 2008 in Indonesia. 1939, we go way, way back. Paul Jones defeats Pedro Martinez in Honolulu, Hawaii for the NWA Hawaii Heavyweight title. Peha oi, belehini kane, pupule wiki wiki, mahalo, aloha to all my friends over there on the islands. 1963, another great year. The Crusher defeats Vern Gagne in St. Paul, Minnesota for the AWA World Heavyweight title. This week in pro wrestling history here on Chaos Corner. 1977, Dennis Condrey and Phil Hickerson defeat the Samoans, Afa and Sika, for the AWA Southern Tag Team titles. On that same card in 1977, Jimmy Valiant defeated Jerry the King Lawler for the AWA Southern Heavyweight title. Also featured in that same card in 1977. Terry Gordy, Bill Dundee, Mr. Wrestling, Norvell Austin, Sonny King, David Schultz, and Robert Gibson. Two big events to wrap up the history here on This Week in Pro Wrestling History. 1985 World Class Championship Wrestling held their Thanksgiving Day Star Wars card in Dallas, Texas at Reunion Arena. Go back and check that out on YouTube. Go to the archives. It was an incredible event. Also, the year 1985, the NWA and Jim Crockett Promotions held Starrcade 85. Go back to YouTube, listen to the show, watch the show, listen to it on Bischoff, with Arn Anderson, with all the different talent, Cornette, different guys and their podcasts, and what they had to say about Starrcade 85. It came from two locations in 1985, the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, and also at the Omni in Atlanta. Two locations, and was broadcast on closed circuit TV all over the place. It really was something to behold, which led into WrestleMania 3, or was it WrestleMania 2? I'm confused as a baby at Hooters sometime, where they had it in three different locations, LA, New York, and Chicago. There really was great times and great competition in the 80s with the NWA and the World Wrestling Federation. Fans, I'm glad that you're here. A brief impromptu Chaos Corner show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, radio, TV, film, movies, theater, sports, entertainment. This was what the G.O.C. did, and this is what I do now, and especially with my buddy and broadcast partner, Talkin' Tommy Sabin for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. So now that we wrapped up a few brief notes, I do want to quickly hit the local scene. In less than 2 weeks, we're about 10 days out from the next big event for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. December 11th, Under Pressure. And I already gave you my little karaoke. We did it yesterday with the Allman Brothers and Midnight Rider. Well, today we'll do it Under Pressure. December 11th, Under Pressure. It's another huge show which will be broadcast for Fight TV. Check all your local listings on Fight TV for times and locations. It's going to be a heck of an event. Coming off the huge, hottest event of the year, Type 1 to None, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Round 3 for Juvenile Diabetes and Team CC. This is what has been announced for December 11th, Under Pressure for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Now follow them on all social media platforms. Hit me up on all my social media to catch the latest news for PAPW. But at official PAPW on Twitter, also on Instagram, Facebook, ParadiseAlleyProWrestling.com is the website for all the news for PAPW. Owned, operated, trained, and run by the Paradise Four that worked for Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Ted Turner, Crockett Promotions. That's what you get at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Pretty Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, Paul Perez, and Big Steve Tracy, a.k.a. Big Dave Paradise. Roma, WWE, WrestleMania, Madison Square Garden, The Four Horsemen, Power and Glory, Pretty Wonderful, The Young Stallions. Does it get bigger than that? The head trainer at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And, of course, the owner and one of the assistant trainers, Mario Mancini, in the WWF WWE from 84 to 92. And then one of the other trainers, second-generation grappler. That's right, both his mother and father were wrestlers. He was trained in his basement by his parents, and that would be one Mr. Paul Perez. And then, of course, there's the big man. You see the name on the marquee. 6'6", 380 pounds, Big Dave Paradise, a.k.a. Big Steve Tracy. That's what you get at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. So coming up on Under Pressure, December 11th, I want to briefly, and there's more to be announced. There's more matches to be announced. There's more cards and stars from PAPW to be announced. All the stars are going to be there. Now remember, they're just coming off of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Black Friday Alley fights. It was an unbelievable event, which is leading now into Under Pressure. Announced, so quickly, we'll go over the Alley fights results from Black Friday, leading into Under Pressure. The Battle Academy of Hunter Tarka and Jake Lynn took on the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Sean Knight and Jay Onyx, The Haven. And of course, and I don't want to say this to sound cocky, but they are the champions, The Haven defended the titles against the Battle Academy. We also had Sunset Steve Garcia go up against the former Zachariah Gibbs, now Zachariah with the new attitude, with Lucas Chase in his corner. Now, I'm going to tell you the results right here, right now. It's on YouTube, and you can find it out. Sunset Steve Garcia, in what I consider an upset, pinned Zachariah, only to have Lucas Chase, who was just on AEW Dark. That's right. Lucas Chase was just on AEW and is now in Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Chase turned on Zachariah. Let's see where that goes. Also, on Black Friday Alley Fights, it was supposed to be an open elimination. The Alley Fights champion, Dustin Flash Waller. Well, you know who stepped up to take that challenge? It went from an open challenge by the champion of Alley Fights, Flash Waller, into a fatal four-way as the all-star Cody Perrin came out, followed by the heartthrob Greg Baylor, and then, of course, from the Battle Academy, the fireplug himself, as I call him, Lorenzo Vendetta, in an elimination fatal four-way match. And, of course, Dustin Flash Waller, a part of the Miracle Generation, defended the Alley Fights title. What an unbelievable champion. It was an excellent match. Just to give you the heads up on how the elimination went in that fatal four-way for the Alley Fights title on Black Friday. Cody Perrin, the All-Star, was eliminated by the heartthrob Greg Baylor. Greg Baylor, in turn, was eliminated by Battle Academy Lorenzo Vendetta, who was in turn eliminated by the Alley Fights champion, Dustin Flash Waller. Also, the main event on Black Friday was the aforementioned from AEW, or at least he performed in AEW, a mainstay, a stalwart in PAPW, Lucas Chase, just coming off that unbelievable bull rope match against Buzz Bloodsaw, the former United States heavyweight champion. What a match that was. Go back and check that out. Lucas Chase in the main event took on Chump Suckers Aware, Showtime Marcel Williams, Mr. Everything in Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. He was the PAPW heavyweight champion. He was the United States champion. He was the Intercontinental champion. He was also the inaugural winner of the Hercules Hernandez Memorial Tournament Cup. Say that 3 times fast. As I've already said 3 times in this show. Also the winner of Rumble in Paradise. There isn't any title or anything that Showtime Marcel Williams, Mr. Everything, hasn't done in PAPW except win those tag team titles. That's food for thought. That was the main event at Black Friday Alley Fights this past weekend. We're past Thanksgiving. We're into the first week of December. We're headed towards Under Pressure on December 11th. And of course, the birth of Christ and the unbelievable family holiday and get-together that we all need in this country. Christmas leading into the new year of 2022. And who knows what's going to happen with Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. But back on to the main event of last Friday. It went to a 25-minute draw between Showtime Marcel Williams and Lucas Chase. After that, Senior Ref Bill Thompson had to call out the locker room. The boys, the entire locker room of Paradise Alley, emptied out at the facility down there at the Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling Training Facility. Entered out into the ring to separate the two combatants. It was unbelievable. A breakaway, a break apart, a brawl, the dressing rooms, everybody. There was a good 15 grapplers in there trying to keep Showtime Marcel Williams and Lucas Chase apart at the end of Alley Fights. That's what you missed. And of course, because it was Black Friday, it was half price for all the fans at PAPW. Happy holidays from Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on that one. So, Black Friday Alley Fights, Matt DeCourt, the voice of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, was there representing. Senior official Ref Bill Thompson was on hand. And then, as you see, the Haven defended the titles against the Battle Academy. Sunset Steve Garcia pinned Zachariah in a big upset. Lucas Chase turned on Zachariah. Flash Waller defended the Alley Fights title in a fatal four-way elimination bout. And the main event saw Showtime Marcel Williams and Lucas Chase in an all-out brawl that involved the entire roster in a time limit draw. That leads us into what I have here announced. We're going to keep this under a half an hour, under 30 minutes. That's an unbelievable job. That's what I like to do to push out the content. We got to keep your attention. December 11th, with more to be announced. Stay tuned to all the social media, like I said. For the Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling Heavyweight title, the reigning defending champion, the Uruguayan sensation, Matias DiNapoli, coming off an unbelievable title defense against Colossal Mike Law, takes on the aforementioned former champion, Mr. Everything, Chump Sucker. That's what he calls all of you. Showtime Marcel Williams. That's the main event at Under Pressure. Matias against Showtime. Worth the price of admission alone. Also, number one Ichiban, the king of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, the current United States Heavyweight Champion, takes on also the aforementioned Lucas Chase. The animosity between Showtime and Lucas Chase. Let's see what happens in the locker rooms December 11th at Under Pressure. Showtime goes for the heavyweight title against Matias. And Lucas Chase goes for the United States title against Ichiban. Very interesting to see what the fallout will be going into the holiday season here in 2021. Also at Under Pressure on December 11th. Again, we're about 10 days away, less than a couple of weeks. The former United States champion, the New England Beast, the hardcore legend of the Northeast, Bull Dread, takes on the leader of the Battle Academy, the Red Lion, Chris Battle, in a number one contenders match. That's right, this is a big one. The number one contenders match. The winner will receive a title shot against Matias DiNapoli, the current Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, unless Showtime regains the title. Either way, it's Dread versus Battle, number one contenders match. Also for the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championship. High-flying, death-defying. You're not going to see anything like this. The Haven, Sean Knight, Jay Onyx, the current champions, the fan favorites, the tag team of the year. The Haven defends the titles against Hose A and Hose B, the Hispanic Mechanics. No me jodas, wait, you know what I'm talking about. Jose and Hose B have been a thorn in the side of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. They took the House of Pain to the limit when the HOP were the champions, now the former three-time tag team champions. So at Under Pressure, December 11th, PAPW, the Haven defends the titles against the Hispanic Mechanics. Oh, wait, I got that all wrong. Wrong notes. I am right about the Miracle Generation, but it's not Sean and Jay Haven. Scratch that. Ix that. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad you brought it to my attention because that was a snafu, and I'll say it now, which I haven't said it. You know what Bully Ray Dudley said to me? At least 20 years ago? That's right, Bully Ray from Busted Open Radio, the Dudley Boys, perhaps the greatest tag team of all time, two-time Hall of Famer, co-host with LaGreca, Tommy Dreamer, Mark Henry. He said to me at least a couple of times while we were battling back and forth for the NWA World Tag Team titles with the Outcast Killers and yours truly. He said, give the Guardian of Chaos Big Daddy 7 spots. He'll screw up 6 of them. I consider that to be a compliment coming from Bully Ray. He's a legend. And that's what I just did. So let's rewrite that and take that. See, it's not going to be edited out. This doesn't get edited. It's live to tape, unscripted, unedited. December 11th, the Hispanic Mechanics, Jose and Hose B, take on the Miracle Generation. But not the Haven, not for the tag team titles. They take on Alley Fights champion Dustin Flash Waller and Intercontinental champion Kylon King. That's right. It's the Miracle Generation of Kylon King and Dustin Flash Waller against the Hispanic Mechanics. The Haven will be there in attendance. They will be defending the title. It hasn't been announced yet. What a snafu and screw up that was. So you get the Intercontinental Champion Kylon King to team up with the Alley Fights Champion Dustin Flash Waller, the Miracle Generation to take on the Hispanic Mechanics. Now, I'm assuming this is probably another #1 contenders match leading to a title defense or a title shot against the Haven, the current reigning defending tag team champions. Thank you, guys. Redemption. Don't you love redemption? Also, on hand for December 11th, Under Pressure, Mike Skyros. And if you haven't seen this grappler, he's all over the New England Northeast area. Mike Skyros, one of the hottest, fastest rising talents here in the independent scene. He will be in the big time. If I'm not mistaken, he's worked from everybody from Beyond to Limitless and everyone even in between. And maybe in AEW coming up. So also, Under Pressure, December 11th, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, a 7 p.m. bell time. Mike Skyros takes on Jay Hiru. That's right, Jay Hiru. Now, I don't know much about Jay Hiru. I've seen some videos. I've seen some photos. He's in tremendous shape. That's what you have for December 11th, Under Pressure, with more matches to be announced. Like I said, especially the tag team champions, the Haven. So I'm going to say that to say this to wrap it up here after the snafu there on the tag team titles or lack thereof at Under Pressure. We're right at 30 minutes. This is Chaos Corner. I can't thank you fans enough. Check out my show yesterday. It was a 5-part series on rivalries in pro wrestling. You're not going to want to miss it. Full of unbelievable history and nostalgia that you fans love for the content here on Chaos Corner. We bring you AEW, the WWE, MLW, NWA, Impact Wrestling, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Chaos Corner. We bring you history. We bring you notes. We bring you results. We bring you news. We bring you current events and topics. That's what I do here at Chaos Corner. I want to thank everyone for being here and everyone listening out there. Come back. Check out the channel. There's hundreds of videos. I'll always be throwing out content. It's a lot of fun. It's variety. It's entertainment. It's what I do best. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. Chaos Corner. Don't you dare miss it.